Welcome back to From the Pages, where we rip open the time capsule of wrestling's wildest print era. And this time we're diving into the spring 1989 issue of Wrestling 89, the glossy quarterly that promised to be, for today's wrestling fan, but now reads like a fever dream from the Turner-McMahon Cold War. Like, subscribe and tell us in the comments which feature grabbed you, because this issue gives you Lawler's ego, Sting's rise, Elizabeth's duplicity, and enough mail-order chaos to fill a trunk. Let's go. The opening bell strikes first, with editor Stuart Sachs sounding off about the recent sale of Jim Crockett Promotions to Ted Turner. He jokes about the new brass watching NWA matches through 3D glasses, predicting an evolution, not a revolution. He teases this very issue's stories, Lawler's contradictions, Elizabeth's innocence in question, Sting's rising stardom, Steve Williams' heel turn, and the verbal warfare of Cornette versus Dangerously. Then comes the long credit roll. Bill Apter, Craig Peters, Eddie Elner, Andy Rodriguez, and the old Apter Mag brain trust in full control, promising a quarterly that looked slicker than Wrestling Superstars, but still had that tabloid bite. Flip the page and it's feedback, wrestling's version of talk radio in print. Fans write furious letters. One from Clearwater, Florida, scolds the editors for photographing Hulk Hogan at the beach without permission. Another applauds Hacksaw Dugan as the most patriotic man in wrestling, while tearing into a critic from Trenton who called him pathetic. There's debate over Ted Turner buying the NWA. Readers fear he'll colorize wrestling just like he colorized old black and white movies. The editorial response drips with mock diplomacy. We print Wrestling 89 for our readers, not Hulk Hogan, they insist. Tabloid ethics in one line. Newsline delivers the hot scoop. Ted Turner has officially bought the NWA and created the Universal Wrestling Corporation. TBS Vice President Jack Petrick is quoted, promising no revolution, just evolution. Williams' drug charges are dropped, and Jesse Ventura mocks Indiana for electing Dan Quayle. The section feels like real-world chaos creeping into kayfabe's borders. The WWF gets a plug for opening its first official merchandise store at the Milford Mall, complete with posters and red-hearted underwear for Brother Love. Then in this corner with Craig Peters turns politics into ring philosophy, analyzing the PWI Achievement Awards and asking whether any promotion truly earned a mandate. Savage and Hogan win the popular vote. Flair and Luger own the ring credibility, and Peters ends with a challenge. The only mandate is for quality. It's wrestling punditry with a newsroom sneer. Paul Ellering grabs manager's forum next, exalting the Road Warriors as rightful kings of the NWA. He recounts years of bad promotion, bad officiating, and tactical errors before winning the tag belts in New Orleans. Ellering rips the six-man tag titles as a waste, not worthy of the Legion of Doom. He even weighs in on the Cornette Dangerously feud, calling both men who feed off imitation. His tone is cold, efficient, almost militaristic. Ellering as the chess player behind two human tanks. But then, a thunderous crossfire. Jerry Lawler faces the twin flames of Bill Apter and Eddie Elner. It's verbal combat as they grill the AWA World Champion on his feud with Kerry Von Erich, his love of controversy, and his disdain for Texas referees. Lawler sneers that Von Erich stole the title and insists he's the only honest man in a crooked business. Elner needles him about foreign objects, and Lawler fires back that he's teaching integrity by example. It's vintage Lawler, smug, funny, vicious. A heel and philosopher rolled into one. Interview 89 shifts to Steve Dr. Death Williams, now fully embracing the varsity club's rule-breaking ways. He shrugs off his dropped drug charges and calls himself Reborn. The piece, filled with Atlanta gym photos and quotes about discipline, paints Williams as both menace and martyr, the muscle that found purpose in corruption. Then comes the muscle mass think piece of the decade, wrestling's new breed. More power to them. But is that enough? The article argues that today's gym-obsessed wrestlers may be too sculpted to win real titles. There are shots of Luger, Warrior, and Barbarian mid-pose. contrasted with grainy black and white legends who relied on grit instead of glamour. They can bench 500 pounds, it says, but can they wrestle 5 minutes without losing wind? It's both critique and love letter to the era of steroids and spandex. From there, we head into Mouth versus Mouth, where Jim Cornette and Paul Lee dangerously hurl insults that read like stand-up routines. Cornette calls Paul a parody with a phone, while Paul shoots back. Cornette's a hillbilly who thinks sarcasm is a management skill. The layout splits their quotes side by side like dueling news columns, perfectly capturing wrestling's first meta feud. Two managers fighting to own the same team name. Next, the centerpiece feature, Wyndham, the Warriors, and Flair. They'll feel the sting in '89. This is Sting's coronation moment, a bright painted comet ready to explode. The article gushes about his scientific training, his respect for the old guard, and his refusal to take shortcuts. For 2 years he studied the craft, it says, and now the world will feel the sting. The photos are electric, Sting's eyes alive under fluorescent lights, the promise of a new generation. That optimism dies hard with the innocent manipulator. Why Elizabeth will cause another Hogan-Savage war. The tone is tabloid dark. She looks innocent enough, but the lovely Elizabeth holds the key to a new rivalry. The piece dissects televised moments like a gossip column, a lingering glance, a nervous smile, a missed tag. It frames her as the Yoko Ono of the megapowers long before the breakup aired. Then a warm intermission, the private side, Nikita Koloff, American. In his Atlanta home, Koloff poses with family photos and American flags. Once a villainous Russian, now he grills burgers and praises the freedom to start again. The article captures redemption through domesticity, propaganda turned personal growth. The debate piece, you decide, should title matches be 2 out of 3 falls? Invites fans to weigh in on tradition versus television time. The editors argue that interference, disqualifications, and foreign objects have corrupted clean victories. It's a moral referendum disguised as a poll. And then the departments roll in. Scouting report, managers forum, golden moment, info center, scoreboard, best bet, this just in. Each teasing upcoming stories, title changes, and roster moves presented in that iconic minimalist layout. Now, the real treasure, the advertisements, which are half the show. There's a full-page mail-order bonanza from the Johnson Smith Company print, things you never knew existed. You can buy X-ray specs for $2.25, instant dog mess for $3, garlic gum, stench spray, ventriloquist dummies, smoke grenades, blacklight bulbs, whoopee cushions, bullwhips, spy telescopes, and even sea monkeys that hatch in minutes. Every line screams late 80s Americana, comic fonts, P.O. boxes, and the promise of chaos delivered by mail. Free gift with orders over $8, it says. Proof the greatest match of the decade was capitalism versus common sense. Then a glossy subscription push, go first class, offering a combo subscription to Wrestling 88 and Wrestling Superstars for $15, mailed in protective manila envelopes. Another page sells Sports Review Wrestling for $17, promising stories found in no other wrestling magazine. There's even a Von Erich extravaganza mail order ad for a 70-minute VHS tape and hardcover book, a heartbreaking time capsule of triumph and tragedy, sold for $32.95. More ads follow. Inside Wrestling and the Wrestler Combo Deal, Pro Wrestling Illustrated subscription pitches with full-color pinups, and an explosive double-page spread for Japanese women's wrestling videotapes, Slant-Eyed Slaughter and Ride of the Rising Sun, both with grainy screenshots and a note that the English commentary is poor, but the action level makes up for it. You can almost hear the VCR whirring. And finally, the back cover, the final subscription order form screaming, "Go with the leader," a PWI, above a montage of Hogan and Savage colliding under the words Achievement 88. That's Wrestling 89. Spring issue, a glossy, half-journalistic, half-carnival artifact from when kayfabe ruled, mail-order madness reigned, and every editor thought in capital letters. Make sure to like, subscribe, and leave a comment below. Tell us which part of the magazine you'd order from first. The Bullwhip, the Von Erich VHS, or the X-Ray Specs. This has been From the Pages, Wrestling 89, Spring 1989.